Hey, Rosemary.
Hi.
Hey, thanks for meeting today. I wanted to ask you about how you use technology to help you better understand where the students are with their learning.
Yeah, well, I've found that I've really enjoyed using tech with the kids. Normally in class, I work with a small group within the workshop model, so it's a nice way to work one-on-one with the kids, but also later on, I can check in with those other kids that maybe I didn't have in the small group and see their work on an app like Seesaw, or they can email me what they've done. So it's a nice way to make sure that all of the kids are being accountable, even if they're not working with me one-on-one. And it's like really, it's a nice way just to quickly walk around the classroom and check that everyone's on task and to see what they're doing quickly looking at their iPad. So I found it a great way to keep my kids accountable and to help collect a lot of great formative assessment that I can use later on.
Awesome. And in the class, when you deliver like a tech lesson, what are your expectations for accountability, or how do you check in with students while they're working?
Yeah, like I said, first thing, going around, seeing that everyone understands what they need to do, everyone's on task. And the other thing is just that it's a really nice way of keeping kids accountable by the fact that they have to post something to the rest of the class. So rather than it being a piece of paper that they're putting into their notebook, it's a post that they're making to the class and to me. So at the end of the day, I can quickly check in and look and see who is doing their work, who has something to show, and I can also see who's not posting a lot and who maybe needs a little bit of review with me later. So it's a really great way to check in with kids quickly.
Awesome. Thanks.
Thank you.
So we were talking about how we roll out tech in the classroom and ways that we can make sure students are on task, make sure that they're focused, and make sure that they're accountable. Do you have anything to say about that?
Sure. I think it's really important that it's very clear at the beginning of the lesson what the expectations and the goals are for that lesson. The students need to be able to repeat back to you what they are. Either they're on a piece of paper somewhere or written up, so that you're able then to keep checking with them throughout the lesson. How are you doing? Are you reaching that goal? What do you need help with? What's missing? Whether they're working with partners or a team, there's that kind of accountability that's going on throughout the lesson.
And let's say you've run through the lesson. What do you find is an effective tool that helps you kind of check in after?
Yeah, sure. Well, if there's like a specific product that we want them to have accomplished or achieved, if they can post it, whether it's to Seesaw, and then I have Seesaw set up so I have to approve the items. So that helps me to check and, okay, yeah, this is great, or they're missing an audio comment, or they missed this piece. I can go back and have them reflect on, okay, did you achieve the goal with this product? What are you still missing? I think it's also helpful, especially if it's like a team or partner, to have specific jobs assigned. It's your job to do this. Everyone, we talk about, has everyone touched the iPad? So there's not just one person who's holding on to it. And then checking in with them, did you do your job, or is that piece missing from the product?
Hey, I wanted to talk to you about how you use technology and how you help facilitate the use of technology in your classroom, how you reach like accountability with the students, making sure that they're focused. How do you check in with them? All that type of stuff. You can answer any or all of the above.
Okay. Seesaw for me has been a really great accountability tool where I'm able to use the calendar function. Yesterday I was out sick and there was a substitute in, and two of the readers and the writers plans both were the final task was to upload something to Seesaw. And so yesterday was the 12th. So this morning when I came in with the kids, they were sitting on the carpet. I clicked on the 12th, and there are 19 items that came up. And so we recognized the students that had posted: Nayan and Zoe, Tayoun, Hamza, Jacob, Ibrahim, Tanya. Tayoun did another one. We discussed how great it was that they were independent, that they were self-directed, that they followed through with the task. They got the Eagle stamp, big, round of applause. And then some kids were following up with our blog post. So our blog post, one of the tasks was to screenshot questions and to post the questions on Seesaw after they got the correct answer. So that was an example that we celebrated this morning of students being accountable for their STAR homework, being self-directed. And a lot of times in the morning when I come in and I've looked at who's posted, we can use these as exemplars. So when I see, it's usually to do with reading or writing. This is an easy way for me to show, for example, the student, today we were doing cause and effect. She has the cause as Mount St. Helens blew up, the effect, 57 people died, lots of plants and animals were destroyed. So I can pull this up and we can quickly check in before Reader's Workshop, the cause and effect lesson, as a way to reteach with a student exemplar, as opposed to me showing the same chart and talking about the same things that I've already talked about. I know who this student was. I can ask Ria to explain it. She can then say she wants to be a coach. A lot of times when I'm looking through Seesaw and seeing that there are students who understand a concept or a standard really well, I'll jot their names down and ask them to coach students for that teaching point. So if I know that there's a group of 6 kids who are still struggling with cause and effect, I just take a quick look through Seesaw to see the kids who have posted and who do understand it, and they're the coaches, and that they can pair up with these students who are still requiring some reteaching. What else
Awesome.
did you ask me about?
I think that's great.
Okay.
If I was going to follow up on one more thing, I'd like you maybe to talk about how you facilitate tech in the classroom, though.
Okay, so ways that we facilitate it, I find that the kids are really, they're really eager to be celebrated. So when I recognize that Ibrahim has used Byboard really well, and we jot his name over on the side of our whiteboard, he's the Byboard expert. And that way I at a glance know, okay, yeah, Ibrahim, he was really good at Byboard. The next time something comes up where we can use Byboard, or it would be an effective tool to have multiple pages, Ibrahim, there he is. You can go to him if you have questions. We've looked at different experts for cropping. What are the other ones over there? Sketch, Chatterpix, Book Creator. So facilitating it that way, just letting kids be experts and help troubleshoot when other kids are trying to use different apps. And I think just like walking around the classroom, asking what they're doing, little check-ins, making sure they're on task. The distractibility of the iPads is something that, is just one more tool that they can be distracted with. They can be distracted on there with a pencil, but they're also distracted with their iPad with all the gadgets. So when I'm going around and I'm checking in and I'm seeing what they're doing, a lot of the times it's like, you know what, if you're off task, put the iPad away, and facilitating it in the way that you're on task, and these are the expectations, and this is what I expect to see, and I expect to see an end result. So that there is something, a goal that they're working towards, and if they're not using the iPad appropriately, then they know to put it away and they can use their paper and pencil. And a lot of partner work. They love doing partner work with the iPads, and I usually pair differing abilities together, and that way they're coaching and they're helping each other, but they're using the same app, or they're working together on one iPad.
Cool. That's perfect.
It.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Hey, Nora.
Hey, Mr. Sean.
So I wanted to ask you, because you've been running like Genius Hour or kind of student-led environments and using technology for the last 4 years really well, I wanted to ask you how you maintain student accountability, how you make sure that they're on task, and if you have any tips or tricks for that.
Well, I think that accountability, you touched on a very important point. Accountability is a huge part of Genius Hour. Often the kids think that it's free time and that they can just research whatever they want and nobody's going to hold them accountable. But I think that's where then they realize that it's not really free time, and it's not a time where they just sit and just pretend that they're working. One of the strategies that I use is I always confer with the kids and make sure that they know that I am following up with their projects, and I know what their projects are about. I know how far they've reached in their project. And another thing that we do is that at the end of every block, or Genius Hour block, the kids share, if we have any time, share what they found out, or resources that they've used, or fun facts that they've discovered about their topic. And then I think the big part of it is then presenting to either your peers or like this time we had parents come over. That kind of tells the kids that there is an end to this project and that there definitely is accountability. People are going to come and see the work that you're doing, and you are responsible to present something, because for the past 8 weeks you have actually been working on something and learning about something of your own interest.
Cool. Thanks for sharing.
You're welcome, Mr. Shaw.